answer yes or no. You do not have to give other details besides yes or no for this question that I'm about to ask you. Okay, so close your eyes. Close your eyes. Do you have to use the bathroom? Do you have to pee or poop? You don't have to specify. If the answer is yes, you do not have to specify in the chat box which one it is. Just, is the answer yes or no? You noticing any urge to urinate or defecate? Okay, so most of you are saying no. I do have a yes from a yes and a yes from. Okay, all right. Now, why am I asking you these random, weird questions? Who cares? And why are we taking our pulse? What's the point of that? Okay, this comes to, we were talking about, the whole title of this discussion is the most important cause of mental and emotional stress. And this is really, really misunderstood and underutilized. There are actually 6 main causes of mental and emotional distress, dysregulation. There's 6 main causes. We're going to talk about the most important one today. I will quickly, at the end of our discussion today, I will tell you what the other 5 are, but I won't have the time to explain them to you. We do have a course that goes into depth on all 6 of these and how to counteract them and how to use them in your life. But today we are going to go semi-deep, medium level deep on the first and most important one. The first and most important one is called interoception suppression. Interoception suppression. Now, you know what suppression is, right? It's when you hold something down, right? When you suppress something. But what is interoception? Maybe not all of you have heard this word. Okay. Interoception, it's not a word that Kate and I made up. It's in a dictionary. Interoception is, there's 2 ways to think about it. It's the brain's ability to detect and decipher. That's important. Not only detect, but also decipher. The brain's ability to detect and decipher signals from the body. Or another way of looking at it, the mind's ability to detect and decipher signals from the nervous system. Okay, that's both varying but close together definitions of what interoception actually is. So now let's plug it back in. So interoception suppression. Interoception suppression, what's that? Okay, well that must mean interoception is just a sense. It's a sense like seeing or hearing. It's, we have more than 5 senses. That's one of them. But what does interoception suppression mean? It means that a lot of us, and I mean a lot of us, Kate and I run into this all the time. A lot of us are chronically suppressing our own interoception. A lot of us have gotten really, really good at it. Really good at suppressing it, which means it almost, for some of us, kind of comes natural and we don't even know we're doing it because we've been doing it for years. It becomes really natural. And so then what happens is we get really disconnected from our nervous system. We get disconnected. This is a really big problem. We get disconnected from our nervous system. And believe it or not, this actually causes quite a bit of mental and emotional stress and distress. It also eventually leads to something called a neurocrash, which, like I said, I'll define in a couple of minutes. But it's really unhelpful and counterproductive. Why? Why does it matter? Who cares? The reason it matters is because if you are not deeply plugged in to your own nervous system, and if you are ignoring or avoiding or suppressing signals from your nervous system, what that's going to mean is your nervous system is trying to take care of you, right? That's all it's trying to do. It's trying to take care of you. But if you're doing this, if you're suppressing this or ignoring it, it knows that, right? Knows the message isn't being received, right? So what it does is it raises the volume of the message, right? Think about how, right, if you have to go use the toilet and you don't do it because you're busy, maybe you don't even notice it, and then all of a sudden you realize you really have to go to the bathroom, or all of a sudden you realize you're really thirsty or really hungry or really tired, right? You suddenly notice that that's not actually what's really happening. There's never a situation where you suddenly realize you're very tired, very hungry. That's not how it works. your nervous system starts sending you the message when you're a little bit hungry, a little bit thirsty, a little bit tired, or a little bit have to go to the bathroom, right? So when you suddenly feel it come strong, like a lot of you've had this experience where you just suddenly feel exhausted, but you didn't feel exhausted 5 minutes ago. So that doesn't mean you weren't exhausted 5 minutes ago. It means 2 hours ago you were tired and you started getting that signal and you were turned off to it because you were busy, either suppressing that or focusing on something else. So your nervous system has to raise the volume until it gets hurt. Now, this also applies to this very important aspect of the messages that your nervous system is sending, which is, it's not just being tired, it's not just being hungry or thirsty, it's also your emotions. You will often have an emotion: anger, annoyance, fear, anxiety, sadness, right? You will often have emotions like that. That's part of your nervous system. Your nervous system will send you the message in the form of that emotion, and we will ignore it or suppress it or not even notice it, again, because some of us have gotten very good at this. We don't notice that. Does that mean then the emotion disappears from our lives? We know it doesn't mean that, right? What it means is that the emotion's still there. It's just being unacknowledged and unreceived by you. So what has to happen over time is your nervous system has to raise the volume until it's screaming. That's why, have you ever noticed that sometimes you'll just be going about your business, nothing horrible will be happening, and someone will say something, maybe it's something that you, disagree with, or maybe they forgot to do something or whatever, and you will kind of bite their head off. You'll kind of snap at them. Well, I already told you it starts at 6 o'clock, right? And then even later, you'll be like, whoa, why did I just bite that person's head off? Like, oh, they just asked what time it was, right? So that's one of, it's not the only, but it's one of the side effects that comes from disconnection from your nervous system and suppression of your interoception. It's one of those. So that'll happen, which means it really can impact not only your mental and emotional well-being, as we've been discussing, but also your relationships. It's really important there. It will really hinder and cause problems in your relationship with your kids, with your significant other, with your friends, can even cause problems with your work colleagues, because you will be a more reactive and volatile person. And that's not because there's anything wrong with you. It's not because anything's bad. This is the key thing to really understand. I hope you take this in by the end of our discussion, which is there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing broken about you. You're just using your brain wrong. And anybody is going to have a problem if they use something in the way that it's not designed for. Right? I can remember using a gym machine. It was the first time using it. I misunderstood what it was for. I was actually using it for the opposite. I thought it was for sit-ups, and it was actually for a lower back exercise. So I was using it completely wrong. And every time I would try and use it, I would like pull something in my back, and it would feel really bad. And I'd be like, oh, I would either say this machine stinks, it's just a bad machine, or you know what, maybe there's just something wrong with my body. It's just like not designed to be able to do this exercise. And then I had a personal training session, and they showed me they're like, this is how this machine works. And I'm like, oh, I'm not even laying on it the right way. I'm laying on it face up instead of face down. Like, it was a whole thing. And as soon as I realized the way to use it, I was able to use the machine, and it didn't stress me out. It didn't strain my back. It didn't hurt me, right? So that's because there wasn't something wrong with the machine, and there wasn't something wrong with me or my body. I was just using it wrong. Right? I was just using it wrong. One of the things, for instance, we do a lot in just a quick example, is that we use the frontal lobe of our brain, the problem solving and planning part of our brain, which is great. It's important. It's one of the things that makes us human. It's great to do. We use that, if you use that to make a business plan or to plan out a trip or different decisions, that's great. That's what it's designed for. If you use it as a way to think your way out of an emotion you don't want to feel, a sensation you don't want to feel, then you're, quote, using your brain wrong, right? That's not the way that's designed to be used. Doesn't mean you're doing anything bad, but it means you're using your brain wrong. And so it's going to seem like it's not working for you. It's going to seem like your brain and your nervous system are kind of working against you, right? But they are not. Your brain and your nervous system is never working against you. Sometimes when we use it wrong, either use our brain wrong or disconnect from our nervous system, it can seem that way, for sure. And I understand that. So we want to we want to reconnect with and befriend our nervous system. We're going to talk a little bit more about how to do that. We want to do that, and we want to use our brain in the way that's actually designed to use for our own equilibrium, homeostasis, and mental and physiological health. We want to be in sync.